Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'da, habati fillah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. As'al Allah Kareem Rabbil Arshil Azim and yatawallana fi dunya wal akhirah. Habati fillah, a question was asked. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. What are your thoughts on Hijrah to Indonesia and Malaysia, especially for Muslims who live in Australia? They are both Muslim majority countries, but with secularism and some Sufi influence. Is it worth aspiring to work towards living in such lands? Jazakallah khairan wa barakallah feek. Wa feekum barakallah. So first and foremost, part of Hijrah, that there's a couple of types of Hijrah as we mentioned, and the Prophet ﷺ said the greatest Hijrah is leaving off your sins and coming to ta'a, coming to obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that can be done anywhere, and that doesn't require you going to a special locality. Then there's the hijrah that's mainly what is talked about by the fuqaha, the scholars of fiqh, and what they are usually referred to as hijrah is leaving the land of disbelief to the land of belief. And as you mentioned, Indonesia, and I don't know, and Malaysia, Indonesia and Malaysia, I believe, they're both Muslim countries. So, with that being the case, no doubt, inshallah ta'ala, to be in Muslim majority lands and lands where you can hear the adhan and practice your deen, then you are fulfilling a great duty in Islam, and something which is highly recommended if you live in a land in which you are able to practice your Islam, but it is not a Muslim country. So going from Australia, which I assume you can practice your Islam, more like you can do all the sha'ir al-Islam, basically, that it would be recommended, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So this is something great. I've been to Indonesia. I've never been to Malaysia. Malaysia is well known and praised for its organization and its cleanliness and so forth, and lifestyle. And yes, you will find that many of the countries, you'll find most of the countries in the world, Ahl Sunnah is are very few in numbers. And with that being the case, even regardless, there are some of those countries are so big, so large, such as Indonesia, the various islands, but there are a lot of Ahl Sunnah in Indonesia, especially Indonesia. A lot of Salafis. I know scholars that I knew personally in Medina that went on to get their PhDs, and they went back, and I see them always on YouTube and with hosting other scholars from Saudi Arabia and Yemen. And so they're very active, and there's a lot of nishat. The Dawat Salafiyya is very strong in Indonesia, in very parts. So it'd be important to probably make those connections. So that's what I know about Indonesia. Malaysia, I don't know. I've never been. But any place where you can practice your religion better and be in a majority where the majority is Muslim is generally going to be a better place for you in your Islam. And it will also fulfill, just for the sake of fulfilling that duty of hijrah, of leaving the land of disbelief to the land of Iman or Islam, then you will be fulfilling a great duty and a great aspect of your deen. And so this is what I can say in general about that, and that's all the knowledge that I really have, especially since I've only been to Indonesia, and it's a beautiful country. I've been to Jakarta and Surabaya, and knew like I said, some of the scholars there and students of knowledge that I met also in Saudi Arabia, some that I went to classes with in Medina. So there's a lot of khair. There's a lot of khair, especially in Indonesia. So many students of knowledge. When I see the mashayikh from Saudi going there and so forth, you'll sometimes see thousands of students of knowledge on the Sunnah, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, trying to adhere to the book and the Sunnah and coming out to see our scholars. So that shows you that there's great iqbal. Indonesia has a huge population, so maybe they're few in numbers, but still you can be in enclaves where there's so many people on the Sunnah and so much khair. And so we ask that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Almighty, accepts our good and forgives our evil, blesses us all with that which is good. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad.